Welcome back into Channel 5 News at noon. I'm Channel 5 Sports Director KJ Doyle. We're joined now in studio by none other than Southland Conference Commissioner Chris Grant. Commissioner Grant, thanks so much for joining us today here in the Valley. An exciting time for UTRGV. I believe this is your third trip of the year, right after taking the first trip back when UTRGV baseball was playing.
That right, third trip. You know, it's always great to be in the Valley. I brought the rain today. I heard it's a little drought, so sprinkle it down, show some Southland love. But it's always awesome. I mean, of course, what we know in this venture and this partnership of having UTRGV join us, over a year ago, and the vision that was placed then, and to see it come to fruition now, from football to all other sports, has been amazing.
Well, we want to talk about football a little bit today. UTRGV football, a great win last week, now entering their bye week. 20-point victory over Houston Christian for their first conference win. What did you make of that performance?
I mean, just remarkable, right? I mean, one thing that, we knew as a foundation is there. We know how great of a coach Coach Bush was and everything he instilled in that program last year as they were waiting to get on the field. But to see it all come to fruition now, and of course, people had questions, right, early on the schedule, what it looks like, but it's not. You start a team, you schedule it the right way, and they've done that. And we've had teams that schedule some non-D1s that haven't had the success that they've had. So it's great. We're giving a great foundation coming into conference play. Obviously, 1-1 right now in conference. They put up a good fight against Southeastern, and the sky's the limit. I mean, it's a lot of schedule left for what they can do. But I always tell him he might have sandbagged a little bit, right? And that's that because I know what he's capable of, and I have good intel that they might have a better season than what people are expecting around the country.
Well, speaking on that season, I believe this is your 5th year since taking over commissioner duties for the Southland Conference. No one knows this conference better than you. So what can fans expect in terms of the level of competition that's coming UTRGV's way the rest of the year?
Competition's going to step up. But, like I said, UTRGV, they're no slouch, right, when it comes to this. I'm expecting them to be there every down, every distance along the way and really competing. But you're going to see a lot of fans come in and be cheerful of their own, right, as they come through. And there's some good games left that, come through here. And so where we are and where we stacked up traditionally in the FCS playoffs, and FCS is football championship subdivision, and so our conference competes in that. We are one of only 3 conferences that won a national championship in the last decade, right? And that was 2021. So we want to bring that back again soon, and we hope the Vaqueros are a part of that. But you have a lot of brands, Incarnate Word, Lamar, Southeastern, a lot of ones that can compete in the playoffs in the last few years and had a lot of success in advancing to at least the Final Four of what that looks like. And so I like to say we started the first playoff, right, before the CFP came in and took that over.
Where does a quarterback like Eddie Lee Marburger rank in terms of the rest of the quarterbacks around the conference? Because this is a guy that obviously came in, had experience at UTSA, local player, and it seemed like he's been kind of the catalyst for a lot of UTRGV's success early. How much do you think that's been a factor, and what do you make of, again, where he stacks up in the conference?
Right. I mean, you look at him and his leadership alone. That's what I saw first game that stood out, and I was totally impressed. I mean, I told Chase, the athletic director, like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, And it wasn't just his performance, what he's throwing it downfield, it's the way he commands the offense. And I got to give credit to the big guys up front, right? They protect him because he is a great leader going throughout, and the team truly rallies around him. But I think it starts like the coaches set him up for success, right? And it's built upon it. He's really embraced this opportunity and knows he's representing the Valley. I think at the times I see him speaking to media, he's always putting the Valley first and the team first, as well as his Lord and Savior. And so you want to see that in a student athlete and appreciating the opportunity here. And so with that said, he's the total package when it comes to Southland Conference quarterbacks, and I expect him to continue that greatness throughout.
Well, I know it's important on this trip for you also to educate fans on the FCS playoff format. What can you tell us about how that works? Maybe a little different than some fans expect.
Yeah, well, look, again, I mentioned the CFP. They came second to us. We had the playoff first. So 24 of the top teams in FCS subdivision all across the country. So we typically on average send 2 to 3 teams in. I'm being very ambitious this year. I would love to have 4 in, but 3. And then truly everyone's like, okay, for a bowl game, you have 6 wins to get in, right? Well, it's not that in FCS. You need to be on that 8-9 win, mark in order to be clearly in and not waiting and sweating out that bubble. So think March Madness, but a lot less teams. And so with that said, you have an opportunity to host the first round, and if you're good enough at the at-large, or if you win our automatic qualifier, whoever's the conference championship automatically goes on to that first round, or it gets a bye into the next round. And so then it's survive and advance from there. This year we've been grateful to host the championship the last 15 years in Frisco, Texas. Now we'll move on to Nashville for the next 2 years because of some construction at FC Dallas. So a great opportunity for fans to go and take the show on the road. And hopefully, look, we keep seeing success here, and this show will go on the road. And we'll see you all in Nashville soon.
Well, Commissioner Grant, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Enjoy the rest of your time in the Valley. Hopefully the rain lets up a little bit for you.
Right. No, rain, salesman, sunshine. Go get your tickets. We want to see the fans. And not only here, take the show on the road. The Vaqueros need you, and it's going to be some exciting football once conference play really shakes out.
All right. Thanks so much, Commissioner Grant. We'll be back with more Channel 5 News at noon after the break.